All right, good morning, class. Today, you should have already watched my first video with your instructions and checked out the printed instructions. And now you're about to get started on your annotations for Luna. For this week, you only have to work with this one story. You're going to read the story, you're going to annotate it, and you're going to fill out a graphic organizer that's at the bottom. It's on page 3 of your story. So when you open your file, I'm assuming you've already opened it and downloaded it, and you're looking at a copy that looks just like this. If you're still not sure how to download your own version or your own copy of the document, then you need to watch the other video in my instructions that teach you how to get to this point. So I'm assuming you're already here, so we're just going to get started. So remember, when you download your copy, it's going to be just like this. It's going to be blank, and the graphic organizer is on page 3. So I'm going to show you what type of annotations I'm looking for, because I've been noticing some of you guys have just been highlighting sentences and thinking, okay, I annotated it. That's not going to cut it. So when you look at the stuff that I annotated here, you'll notice that everything I annotated is stuff I added. So at the beginning of it, her sister wakes her up at 2:33, and she says, "Don't you ever sleep." So my annotation is a note here. I put 2:33 in the morning, question mark. Why would she wake her up so early? So that's a note that I added that was not in the draft. So I don't want you to annotate here and say, she woke me up, and highlight it and say, okay, I annotated. No, all of your annotations that you put in there need to be notes that you put in there. In this paragraph, um, the girl is wearing a flapper dress that she found at Goodwill. And then she says she did a Charleston for me. So I highlighted both of these words because those are new vocabulary words for me, and I put them in bold. And down here, I annotated the definition. I looked it up, and flappers were a generation of young women in the 1920s who wore short skirts, bobbed their hair, listened to jazz, and flaunted their disdain for what was then considered acceptable behaviors. So I put an annotation in here, which was a definition for flapper. Also, it says she performed a Charleston for me. So I knew that Charleston was a dance, but I went ahead and looked it up, and I put a definition here. The Charleston is a dance named after the harbor city of Charleston, South Carolina. The rhythm was popularized in mainstream dance music in the United States by in 1923. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. So this was not in the story. I added all of this. This is my annotation. So when you add annotations, I'm asking you to add to it. Write a note. Don't just highlight the sentence. If I highlighted Flapper in Charleston and left it at that, I would consider that unacceptable, because you didn't tell me that you know what these are now. You annotated them. So, yeah, you recognize they're unfamiliar words, but did you do the research to find out what they are? The last one I did on my example, she says she wouldn't want to wake the parental units. And I just put a note here. First, I highlighted it in bold parental units because I thought that was interesting. And my note is, why would the narrator refer to their parents so formally? Because you normally wouldn't refer to your parents as parental units. That's a pretty formal term. So I was wondering if that was going to play into the story later. All right, so at the bottom, I gave you some information. On your draft, none of this is here, none of this yellow stuff. So the first thing you're going to have to do is write a summary of the story. And I put a definition here. A summary is a brief summing up of the main points. Then you're going to have to do a paraphrase. And I put a definition of paraphrase here just in case you need it. Then the quote, you're going to provide a quote that best captures the theme of the story. And lastly, a commentary. And I put notes here where I'm just telling you, none of this is on yours, but I want you to know the difference between a commentary, a summary, and a paraphrase, because all three of them are different. And I highlighted the differences here. All right, so that's it. You should be ready to read, annotate this story, and complete the graphic organizer at the bottom. This is your only assignment for the week, so make sure you do your best on it.